foolish mortals.
Hello there. Are you insane? Get out of here!
Remain seated with your seatbelt fastened.
Right, off you go.
Welcome to Average Joe Orlando. Hello, theme park goers. Welcome to November 2024's Theme Park Monthly Recap. We have a good amount. I don't know, I'm speaking so softly. It's like very AMSR. I'm not going to keep doing that. All right, let's get the full energy up. For this month, we are going to talk about some of the things that are started in the park. So unfortunately, Halloween did end, my favorite time of the year. But the nice part about Halloween is it's just the kickoffs because Christmas starts the next day. I am one of those people that November 1st, I defrost Mariah Carey and we start Christmas, at least in my home. I know Halloween Horror Nights did continue until November 4th. I did unfortunately not go, or actually November 3rd, sorry, for the weekend. I didn't go until then. My last day was on Halloween, so I did get to go 12 times this season, and so I think I did get my fill of the event. But today, let's talk about some of the things that have begun this month or are about to begin over in Orlando, over with Disney, Universal. We'll talk about SeaWorld's Christmas, which I don't talk about SeaWorld a lot on this channel, but I will say SeaWorld's Christmas, one of my favorite, have an upcoming episode all about SeaWorld Christmas. Busch Gardens, Christmas Town, and then also dabble in Gaylord Palms because they have the ice experience that happens each year. So we'll start over with Disney World. So they put out their blog post about everything going on for the holiday season. And theirs is interesting because theirs is kind of a smattering of things that are going on. So they have a lot of different start dates. As I mentioned, some already did start. They obviously also have their ticketed events. So some of their events are an extra cost. Disney isn't my favorite for the holidays just because I feel like if you want to experience the holidays, you're going to have to pay for it. When if you go to another park such as Universal or SeaWorld or Busch Gardens, it's all included with your ticket, and there is a lot to do. Also, that's, of course, just one location. You can kind of hop around. Disney is all over the place and kind of has a few little things. But we'll go through them all, starting with Epcot. So starting on the 29th, they're going to be starting their next festival of the holidays. So this is something that started a few years ago, and they do the food booths. So those food booths really don't come down all year. They're basically permanent, and they turn into more of the festive ones, which is fun because it kind of feels a little bit more like the European Christmas markets. You can go around and eat and drink around the world, but for more of the different holiday offerings. They're going to be having all the different storytellers going on as well. So the storytellers are in each country, and they will be telling the story of Christmas and how they celebrate in their country. They also have Christmas with gospel, R&B, and holiday songs, a celebration of the season. So that's the high energy show that happens each year. And then there's also going to be the candlelight processional. Now, I did talk about in a previous episode a lot of the different narrators that come, but the candlelight processional tells a story of Christmas, has the full candlelight singers, which are some people are locals, some are cast members, and then there's also the celebrity narrator each year that comes along with that. A new addition that happened a few years ago that they are bringing back this year will be the Living with the Land Glimmering Greenhouses. So they do an overlay on this attraction, which is one of those attractions that you kind of forget about. Well, not me. I love Living with the Land. But this is one of those attractions that it is fun to ride during the holidays because they do add all the extra things. It's better at night. I've ridden it during the day, and at night, definitely it's a nighttime attraction just because those greenhouses let in all the sunlight, so you definitely want to do that. Unfortunately, it doesn't sound like the Guardians of the Galaxy overlay is coming back this year. They only did it the first year. They didn't bring it back last year, and I guess it was one of those one and done. But if you don't know about that, they had their own song just for that ride. So instead of going through the 5 or 6 songs that usually happen, it was one for Guardians of the Galaxy Christmas, which was kind of neat. Never got to experience it, and I guess I never will. Over at Animal Kingdom, it has already started, but on the 12th is the Merry Menagerie, which is the Puppeteers at the Tree of Life. So there are all these different wintry animal puppets, reindeers, penguins, and such, and they have the different puppeteers coming out. They also really decorate the park nicely. Animal Kingdom is definitely one of those parks that gets really into it. Also a little sad, it's going to be the last year for Dino Land to be all decorated. I know every year I love going over to Dino Land and seeing the giant, I think it's a brontosaurus in the front. You think I should know that. But over in the front and has the Santa hat on. So it'll be our last year to enjoy Dinoland Christmas before it is demolished. They also have Mickey and Minnie that are going to be dressed up in their holiday attire. A new Tree of Light show, or at least one that will be returning with the different more holiday overlay looking items. And then over at Hollywood Studios, November 12th, they did start everything for the holidays. So they have some, the holidays, the characters are going to be all decorated. So you have the Toy Story characters. They also are going to be having some new things going on throughout the park. They have the Frozen sing-along where they bring Olaf into it, and he only makes appearances in the show for the holidays. The Tower of Terror will have the projections back on it for the Sunset Season's Greetings. Ooh, that's a tough one. And, yeah, I think that's everything that's happening over there, over at Hollywood Studios. What I should say is things that are included with your park admission. There is, of course, Jollywood Nights that has begun this past month. However, that is a separately priced ticketed event, and I already did an episode on that one, just like I did one over at Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party, which happens over at the Magic Kingdom. Now, there are still things that are included with your day price ticket, so if you don't want to go to the additional event, like myself, there is the Frozen Holiday Surprise, which started nightly, and that is when Elsa takes over Cinderella's castle because it's not hers, and she does the projection mapping to make it look like icicles. Can you tell I'm better with that one? I miss the Cinderella castle. First off, it's Cinderella's castle. Well, it's Prince Charming's castle if we really want to get into it. But I miss when it was the Cinderella lights and the fairy godmother would come out, and they used to have the dangling Christmas lights, which were fantastic. Now it's projections, but it's still cool. It's about a 6-minute show that happens every night. And then the cool thing is it even happens on party nights. So if you are spending your day at the park there and you obviously won't be able to stay for the fireworks because the park closes at 6, but they will do the projection show with the castle and have the different characters come out, and Elsa does it, blah, blah, blah. Frozen Holiday Surprise started this month. There is also the layover on the Jungle Cruise. So that began on November 2nd this month, and that is the Jingle Cruise. So that is included with your admission ticket. There are other layovers. You might be like, wait, the teacups do something, and so does Space Mountain. They do, but that is only going to be active during party nights. Disney Springs did kick off their holidays this month also, and they did their Christmas Tree Trail. So the Christmas Tree Stroll, I guess, is the official name of it. And now this is when they have all their Christmas trees all around. They used to do it through the old bus loop over on the marketplace side. Now it's smattered all over, which is fantastic because it kind of gets you to look for things as you're heading around because Disney Springs is so large. But they added some new ones this year, such as from the new movie Mufasa. They have The Nightmare Before Christmas, Coco, Lilo and Stitch. And you could walk around and find all the different trees that are decorated to all the different movies and actually events. I've seen a Haunted Mansion tree, which was fantastic too. They also do a snowfall every night, or as I like to call it, the Snope, because it's snow made of soap. And they'll have different characters walking around. Jock Lindsay's, one of my favorite bars over there, does the holiday bar overlay. So a lot of great stuff happening in that area. Also, this past month, all the resorts kicked off all their free holiday offerings. So, of course, there is the Grand Floridian, where you could get to see the Christmas tree, as well as the Lifeside Gingerbread House. The Boardwalk has their gingerbread display. And then you could head over to the other resorts, such as the Yacht and Beach Club, which also has a big gingerbread display. And everything has their trees up. Everything's decorated. So it's just always a nice place at night to go walk around and enjoy. Now, I did do an entire episode on the ticketed events, Jollywood Nights and Very Merry, which to me are the big events going on over at Disney. So I will jump over to my next park, my favorite park, Universal Orlando, for their holidays. Now, their holidays have definitely changed. There will be an episode coming out where I talk about how they have changed, and they have definitely grown. Since I've been down here in Florida, I could definitely say that I've seen a huge growth in Universal and everything that they have done. And so they start on November 22nd. So about a week ago, they have kicked off and running through December 31st, and that will be for their Universal holidays. So they do start a little bit later. However, they are included with their price of admission. Most of their things happen every single night, or every single day, I should say, because they have daytime activities and nighttime. And then they also have some other things that go on that are separately priced, but are all included. They do have at their resorts different trees and different things that are set up. And then they also have, of course, their parks. So I would start off with the Christmas at the Wizarding World of Harry Potter. because you cannot forget about Harry Potter. And they decorate both the lands up for the holidays. They have one of my favorite things, which is Celestine Warbeck and the Banshees. So that's the show over in Diagon Alley. And they have a special holiday show where she sings special holiday songs, such as My Baby Gave Me a Hippogriff for Christmas. Classic. The Frog Choir over in Hogsmeade does Christmas time at Hogwarts. Hogwarts Christmas. Wow. Christmas time at Hogwarts shows, and they'll do different songs. And then the Magic of Christmas at the Hogwarts Castle. Can I speak today? The Magic of Christmas at Hogwarts Castle. And that's their light projection show. And now with that one, just runs like the other ones. That one has started and will run nightly and run numerous times a night. They also kicked off all their new merchandise. When I was over there last time, I got to see all their Earl the Squirrel stuff. So if you don't know about Earl, I'll be talking about him more coming up. But they had their giant tree outside of the Macy's department store over by the Mummy Ride. And every year they put up the giant tree. And one year they kept having issues with the lights, and they found out there was a squirrel living in the tree. Well, they named the squirrel Earl the Squirrel. Now, he would bite through the lights. Rumor has it he kind of electrocuted himself. But they don't really talk about that side, so I don't know how true that is. But Earl the Squirrel, they made a little like animatronic squirrel they would hide in the tree in a different spot every year. So every year when you look at the tree at Universal, you have to look for Earl, and he would kind of like pop his head up and down. Well, then they started marketing him more, and he became a character that was on like different shirts, and then they use him in the tribute store each year. And then they actually have a character meet and greet with Earl the Squirrel. And last year they introduced his girlfriend, Pearl. There's a whole storyline here. It's kind of fun because Universal has done that now with Little Boo, the pumpkin, where they basically made their own mascot for the event based on one of the pumpkins that were at one of the events and the fans like. So this became a kind of a fan favorite that kind of has grown. So I'm waiting to see what they do with Mardi Gras. But Earl the Squirrel, lots of merchandise this year, and a meet and greet where you can meet Earl the Squirrel. My favorite character, though, to meet for the holidays is the robots. During their holiday parade beforehand, they have the characters come out, and they have a robot, a blue one and a purple one, and they come out together, and I got to meet them. It was great. Along with the merchandise, they also have the new tribute store, the holiday tribute store. So each season, as you may know, and I've spoken about it on the podcast, they come out with their different tribute stores. The holiday tribute store is open. And then my favorite event, the holiday parade featuring Macy's. In years past, this was more of just the Macy's parade. And then a few years ago, I want to say about 7, they started the Universal Holiday Parade featuring Macy's. And this features those larger-than-life giant helium balloons. So it's great. If it's not a windy night, they'll raise them high. If it is a windy night, they'll pull them down low. But they will run this parade, and they'll actually have all these giant floats with Shrek, Madagascar, Despicable Me. Santa comes, and he lights the tree. It's just a really great parade, and it's included with a park ticket. And the fun thing about the Universal Orlando location is that you can always see the parade twice. So if you want to go watch it on Hollywood, and then you could walk over to the other side of Hollywood where they come over by Mel's because they do a giant loop. So if you didn't like your view the first time, see it a second time. I recommend that with Mardi Gras. Get the beads. Get all the beads at the beginning, get all the beads at the end. But this is one of my favorite things during the holidays to go see. Something that I will be going to many times, but it did kick off with the event on the 22nd this month. Also, one of the more popular events, Grinchmas. So this has been going on for years, but I think because of social media, the meet and greet with Grinch has just blown up and just got bigger and bigger. So you can meet the Grinch, and this is based on the Jim Carrey version, the live action, and they do a meet and greet. And then there's also a show, the Grinchmas Holiday Spectacular, which is a about 30-minute live stage show, happens numerous times a day, and is included with your park ticket. And this one also began with everything that's over at Islands of Adventure. So both parks kick off their separate holiday events. And the Who's walk around, and it's a musical version, so you can go see that. They have their upsell events, too, where you can do the Grinch and Friends Character Breakfast, which is back at Circus McGurkus this year. And then they also have their holiday tour, where you get to meet the Grinch, see the show, eat some food, meet Santa Claus. You get some priority access to some attractions, and then you also get to see the show at the end of the night. So it includes things that are basically included with a a day at Universal except for meeting Santa and then some priority seating and priority rides. So not something that I am interested in doing, but if you are very big into it, you get to kind of get up close with some of them. I think my biggest thing is you get to meet Max, the Grinch's dog, obviously. And to me, I think that's worth the ticket right there. But other than that, though, the tour would be something that you might want to do as well. So a lot of stuff going on. They also have their food and their treats going around, and then all their great merchandise, as I mentioned. So a lot happening at Universal Orlando that all kicked off this month. Quickly, I will just mention that Gaylord Palms is the big resort convention center right outside of Disney, over by, if you go in the entrance by ESPN or Art of Animation, you probably pass by that giant resort. So that kicked off on November 15th and will run through January 4th. And that is their ice celebration. So they give you these giant like parkas, and you want to dress warm because it is basically in a giant building of ice. And each year they do different themes. They've done A Christmas Story. They've done Charlie Brown. This year is Elf. So they brought back Elf, and you get to walk through an entire Elf exhibit. So basically everything is carved out of ice. So get to see giant sculptures. They have slides. I have never personally done this because it is quite pricey, and but the resort I've been to, and the resort is neat. So it is kind of a cool little area. They have like snow tubing, and they have different lights set up. Very neat kind of thing, but just a little bit more pricey for me personally, especially having an annual pass. I'll stick to the parks, and I'll YouTube this, but something to definitely look into if you're looking to something different over in Orlando. As I mentioned earlier, I don't really talk about SeaWorld enough on this channel. I need to do that more. Maybe that's a New Year's resolution. But this month, their Christmas celebration has begun. So that started on November 16th and is running through January 5th. Now, their celebration doesn't run exactly every single day. The park obviously open every day. They might have some food booths and some smaller things during the weeks. During the holiday weeks, like Thanksgiving and Christmas week, they'll run it every day, 7 days a week. But mostly during the rest of the season, their big stuff will be happening on the weekends. So Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And this is their entire park is taken over by this holiday celebration. So it's all included with your price of admission, and they have different shows. They have different events going on. This year they have a show with Mrs. Claus's Magical Kitchen. So they have one of my favorite shows for the holiday. It's called Oh Wondrous Night. There's 30 carolers, there's life-size puppets, but then the main star of the attraction is the live animals. So it's kind of like gospel music starts off, but it kind of think like Sister Act style. And then the live puppets tell the story of the first Christmas. And then at the end, they create a live nativity on stage where all of a sudden, like you're sitting there and a camel just walks right by you, and then goats and donkeys. It's very cool, very big show. I remember they got rid of it for a few years, and then they brought it back, probably because of budget reasons, because I can't imagine this is a cheap show, but it's definitely a fan favorite. They do holiday photos around the park also with the Sesame Street Friends. They have the Elmo's Christmas Wish show. On select nights, they have the fireworks over at SeaWorld. Sesame Street changes it over to the Christmas Parade. It snows, or as I said earlier, Snopes. They have the Sea of Trees, so on the water that is all in the center of SeaWorld. It has the Christmas trees that are all over, and on special times it will dance to the music. Give me Osborne Lights throwbacks. Rest in peace. Over at the Bayside Stadium during the day is ice skating, and then at night they have Winter Wonderland on ice. Now this is a really fun show. It happens every single year. It's always the exact same show, and it's always fun. But it is a Christmas ice skating show, and they also do different songs from Home Alone and the Polar Express, which is a fun show. Big stadium outside, all on the water. And usually the last show of the night blends right into the fireworks, which is a great view. So great place to watch. And then they have Rudolph. So if you remember the claymation ones, they have the different characters such as Rudolph, Clarice, and Bumble, my favorite. You can meet Santa. They have story time with the elves. Holiday trains. There's a lot going on, not to mention all the food and drinks all around. Always have to get a hot toddy every year. They have hot chocolate stations. They of course have one of their passes where you can get all the different food and go around. So they really kind of stepped up their food game into more of a food festival type style. But all that included with your park ticket over at SeaWorld Orlando. Now their sister park, Busch Gardens, many people don't even realize, owned by the same company. So a lot of their things kind of are similar, but a little bit different. But starting November 15th, running through January 5th, will be the Christmas Town event over at Busch Gardens, Tampa. Now, they will have similar things going on. They have the characters such as Rudolph, but then they do things. They have their train ride, which goes around the park. Their train ride goes through their savannah, so they have a whole like African savannah you can go through. But they have the great train ride where they have Christmas music going, and they'll decorate it all, and they'll have different I guess like lighting things, like look like topiaries of different animals all around. You can meet Santa. They have their ice skating show. They have fireworks. They have food and drinks. They overall another great one. If it was closer, I'd probably find myself going more. Unfortunately, Tampa can be a little bit of a drive. Not too bad getting there, but it's always after the park, driving back to Orlando after it. However, their coasters are fantastic, and if you can go over there, see all their lights. They decorate the whole park full of Christmas lights everywhere. Just a very Christmassy kind of feel, their Christmas town theme, because they do have their section of the park, but the whole park is really decorated and decked out. So nothing like a nighttime ride on Iron Gwazi, seeing Christmas lights, ending with fireworks, and then driving like an hour and so back. But worth it. But yeah, a lot of things have kicked off this past month here in Orlando. Hope you're enjoying these monthly recaps where we kind of go over everything happening in the park. So as I mentioned, everything starting over at Disney at different times, as well as some specialty ticketed items and events. Got the two of them this year, Jollywood Nights and Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party. But then there are also, of course, upsells throughout the event if you'd like to do different things, such as the candlelight package. If you'd like to go have dinner and see the candlelight processional at Epcot, head over to Universal. Most of the things are included there also. However, there is that holiday tour that you could do, or also the upsell of the Grinchmas breakfast where you can meet Max. SeaWorld, most of those things are included with the price of admission. They do have some reserved seating for different things. I never think it's needed if you get there early. And then they also have the pass where you can kind of get the lanyard to go around and save some money there also on the food and beverage if you're really going to be eating a lot or drinking a lot. And Christmas Town over at Busch Gardens. Now, they do have different tickets where you could add on Busch Gardens. So they have their annual passes for Florida. And then you also can buy the tickets for like both the parks. So if you want to do Busch Gardens and SeaWorld on your trip or to your annual pass, they do have those things that you could attach. And last, I did mention, for the first time ever on this podcast, Gaylord Palms offering their Elf Ice event this year also. So a lot to do here during the holidays. And hopefully I will ho see you in the parks.
Thanks for taking a ride with Average Joe Orlando.
You made it! I knew you would.
Is everyone okay? Hope you still want to open an account.
Say cheese! See you later!
Thanks, everybody. You were brilliant.
At this time, gather up your personal belongings and take your small grubs by their grubby little hands as you exit. Thank you.